Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
A Time for True show is sponsored by the Office of Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, a periodontal, dental implant and laser specialist in New York City, for over 40 years. Dr. Fialkoff was honored by the International College of Dentists and Pierre Fauchard, and received the Presidential Lifetime Humanitarian Honor from the White House. Call us at 718-229-3838.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard, you don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart, yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome to A Time for True show. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, and I want to welcome you back with us tonight. And tonight we have a very special show because our world is beset with so much problem, conflict, and so many difficulties. If we were a patient, the patient would be in ICU, intensive care. Why? Because it's very high risk in what's happening in all our societies, all our communities. And there are special people in the world who actually have their own calling, their own dream in life. And it happens to be actually being a doctor to the world, a reverend or a rabbi to the world, a healer, we would call it. And tonight we have such a person who works tirelessly and does so much for our world. So we're going to introduce this tremendous figure to you tonight. Engineer, let's put his pictures up on the screen. While I read about Ambassador Hugues Sanon, a global motivational speaker, strategist, facilitator, public advocate, international goodwill ambassador, and radio TV personality and author. He's an ambassador of Global Peace Chain and a humanitarian directing numerous missions throughout the globe to resolve conflict, reduce poverty, bring education and economic development. There you see him with his beautiful wife, Emanuela. Amazingly, he is also a New York State licensed clergy, ordained at the Triumphant Church of God in 2012, having studied at the Newark Theological School and having obtained his Master's of Divinity and also an honorary doctorate from the Midwest Theological University. The ambassador studied foreign policy and economics at Harvard University and is a global envoy of the international relations to the UN of the Council for Justice, Equality, and Peace International, headed by President Ali Gedekoglu. He's vice president of the Global Organization for Sustainable Development and a global ambassador for the Foundation for a Drug-Free World, the Americas chapter. And in his spare time, as I say jokingly, in 2024, he created the Chautauqua County Journal. He has numerous awards, which I had to cut down so we would be able to get the show in the time required. So I'll mention only a few. The Department of Justice International Apostle, U.S. President's Service Award, the World Leaders Summit Global Humanitarian Leadership Award, the International Distinguished Leadership Award, at the prestigious National Press Club in Washington, D.C., the United Church Global Humanitarian Rights Award, the Trilogía de Oro Award from Mexico, the Pin of Honor from the Mexican Minister of National Security, the Hollywood Lifetime Leadership Award, the COCHEP International Leadership Award, the FOPAL International Bell Ringers Award, and the Drug Free World Vanguard and Hero Awards. The ambassador has spoken on News 12, Fox 5, Star Ledger, Voix d'Amérique, and Voix Afrique. Amazingly, aside from all his accomplishments, he is a pianist, having composed several cultural songs, and also a jazz Creole singer with exceptional talent. And an amazing figure, an engineer, if you will. Let's bring Ambassador Hugues Sanon live on our camera and bid him a warm welcome to a Time for Truth show. Welcome, Ambassador.
Thank you, Dr. Ben Fialkoff, for having me tonight. I'm very honored. You are equipment that I have a lot of respect for. For over 40 years plus, you have helped sustain the world, and this is exactly why 10 years ago I have decided to partnering with you so we can help, serve young people, young kids, mothers, police officers, army chief, and bring world leader to the table of peace by educating and promoting a drug-free world. So I'm honored to be with you tonight so we can talk about the amazing work that we've been doing for so many years. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you for all the acknowledgement. And, I really want the viewers to know that Ambassador Sanon is a tremendous force for our world in positivity and very important figure in our society. So I really know that so many can learn from you. So I want to ask you, we'll start at the beginning. When you were a young man, what were your dreams?
When I was younger, I always dreamed to be a wise man, to be someone that can inspire others. And I remember when I was praying, I never asked God for money. I always asked Him for wisdom. And I believe that God gave me wisdom. And that's why now I become someone that helping people, a helping hand to the world. So this is what I asked for, to be able to help my community and the world. And that's what God gave me. And I'm a humanitarian. So I always wanted to be a humanitarian. And then this is what I am today.
Very nice. And then now, so there you start with that. And I think at the beginning of your career, you started to go into I don't know if this is correct or not, you started to go into the media, right? You started to do radio or television. How did that happen?
Yes, because I want to educate people, because I want to help my community, the Haitian people. I decide to do radio and TV to teach them about the community, to teach them about what's going on around them and around the world so they can understand about politics, about diplomacy, about what's going on with other countries. Remember that Haiti is the first black independent country in the world. And in 1945, after World War II, we were among 50 states that create the UN, the United Nations. And we have helped Venezuela, we have helped the Jews, we have helped the US to fight for the freedom. So in terms of politics, we are very strong. However, because we inspired many different states, many different countries to fight for the freedom, that have made other country that stand against us. And this is the reason why, even though we are strong in terms of realization, in terms of politics, but yet we are very poor economically, financially, because those countries who supposed to team up with us, who supposed to help us, so they decide not to do so. So I got involved on TV and radio to help my community to better understand what is going on and what way they need to take, what they need to do, so in turn they can have a better life. So that's why I got involved TV, and I've done TV and radio for over 15 years, and I became very efficient and effective in that field, and that's what led me to many things that I'm doing today.
Absolutely. Well, you're a fantastic communicator. You're very spontaneous, and wherever you go, you bring life immediately. You know, I remember the first time I met you, and I saw that immediately. And since then, we've worked together. So I wanted to ask you then. So now here you're doing television and whatever, and then you start transitioning and start doing a lot of philanthropy and humanitarian work. Tell us a little bit about how that happened and what you've done.
Well, by doing TV and radio, and I became very effective, and I've made a name for myself. You know, people from many different area in the Tri-State area in Haiti and many other states start listening to me. You know, and as I realized that they are listening and believe on my approaches, so I use this platform to urge my listener to help me help the needy. So that's how I get involved in humanitarian, because I become popular. So I have a lot of friends that donated funds, donated goods, and I start doing it just little by little, and I was able to start to feed from 200 to 10,000 kids, and I was able to host a yearly Christmas event for kids in Haiti. I was able to bring Wycliffe. I was able to bring many stars. I was able to bring Prime Minister, the President, and many people, many outstanding people to Haiti to help me host this event for the kids in Haiti. I was able to help send many kids to school and pay for the school supplies. And I was able to mobilize some international figure, international organization to donate goods. So by using my platform to mobilizing friends to join force with me to help those in need, so I was able to donate up to $3 to $5 million donation goods to the Haitian people, and I was able to help some country from Africa, from the state from Mexico. I traveled to many country like Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Dominican Republic, and then team up with humanitarian, and also got support from the government, because sometimes when you're sending the goods, when you sending containers, sometimes it is hard, you know, to get them to the custom, from the custom, and deliver it to the people. So you have to be able to team up with the local government member and the government abroad, so they can facilitate the goods. So that's how I become to make friends with many world leaders by using my heart at doing humanitarian work. So from radio and TV, I transit to humanitarian work by using this platform to mobilize people to help me help those in need.
Yeah, and as I was reviewing everything you've done, you did it to a very high level because I was looking at something you did in Mexico, where you came out of the blue and you accomplished so much for the Mexican government, where they awarded you, and the National Minister of Security, and what you accomplished in a short period of time was amazing. The trips that you've taken to Haiti, which you said, with all the donations, the ones you've done to Africa, it's amazing. So almost maybe I haven't answered the question, but I want to ask you, so then what happens now? Because now I see that about maybe 8 years ago or so, you started getting involved more and more with the United Nations. How did that come to pass?
Well, it's the same thing. I think it's God. God opened doors. So when you're doing great things, when you are doing positive things, door will be open for you to do it globally, worldwide. So as I'm transiting from radio and TV to humanitarian work and making friends with world leaders and getting those powerful people attention, so doors start opening for me, and I've been having invitation to Washington, to New York, to New Jersey, and many other states to speak at events. And when I'm speaking at those events, and people are convinced of what I'm saying, and then they invited me to many different platforms to speak. So that's how I have got invited at many times to the UN to speak about my humanitarian work, about what's going on in Haiti. So by speaking, and then people are coming to me and they invite me to the event, to the NGO event. Some UN ambassador got my attention. Some minister of foreign affairs saw me. So that's how I progressively I start getting involved in the UN, and some head of state and UN officials asked me for advice. That they've been inviting me to the mission to speak, to have a coffee meeting. So I'm getting, close and closer to those UN, officials. So that's how many of them have been at the UN and speak and get all involved closer and closer. Now, United Nations has become my home now.
Absolutely, it's so true. And I want to bring out something because of that, and because of the fact that you've allied and become a member of so many groups, and you've been recognized. One of them is the Council of Justice, Equality, and Peace International, that's led by President Ali Gedikoglu. And first I wanted to actually acknowledge President Gedikoglu and his organization, because they've helped Drug-Free World to be at the United Nations, to hold these educational events, to preserve the safety of youth against drugs. And, and then also through that, the mission of Turkey has been a very caring humanitarian mission, caring for really the youth of the world. And we really have to give thanks to them for caring so much about young people all across the globe in all the countries. So I wanted to ask you to tell us a little bit about your relationship with COGEP, with the Turkish mission, and what you do with them at the United Nations.
Well, I think around 2016 or 2017, I was invited to speak at one of the events at the UN, and uh, after speaking in me and Queen Mother, and then I think COGEP members, including President Ali, were there. And then after the conference, they reached out to me and told me about the Council for Justice, Equality, and Peace, which I realize have the same vision than what I've been doing for so many years. They stand against violation to human rights. They stand up to violation to to women, to child trafficking, and then advocating for Africa to have a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. There's about 56 state at the African continent, and about 80% talk that's going on at the UN is focusing on Africa, and yet Africa is not at the table. So one of the COGEP mission is to advocate for Africa to have a permanent seat at the UN Security Council. So when President Ali and COGEP member sat down with me, explained to me the vision, and President Ali is always in Turkey and France in Europe, and they don't have nobody at the United States or United Nations to represent this prestigious organization. And they were able to convince me after I realized we have the same vision. And then I agreed to represent them at the UN. And after they realized the work I had done for them at the UN, they extended my position, and I become the coordinator for the whole America. There's many hundreds of countries in the American continent. So now I am the coordinator for COGEP for America, like Job Fuel America. So not only I'm the special envoy in charge of international relations to United Nations, but I'm also the coordinator for COGEP for America. So that's how we met, and then ever since, anything that's going on in America and to the UN, so I'm the one that coordinating everything.
Well, you have a very well-deserved position, and you're totally suited and overqualified to do what you're doing. And so, I want to get to something because there's been a lot of drug abuse, addiction, violence associated with the drug usage, and death. There was 109,000 Americans died of drugs in 2022, which is actually double the entire 10-year Vietnam War, which is horrific. So I wanted to ask you, because I know you've been very instrumental in planning the upcoming March 22nd United Nations Global Drug-Free World Conference, and I wanted to have you tell the viewers and tell the leaders out there about this meeting that we're going to be having.
Every year, thousands of synthetic drugs is being transported to United States, and not only in United States, but in many countries in the world. People who've died by drugs abuse, using drugs, are way more than people who've died, in war, people who've died in prison. So the drugs situation is something that we need to take seriously. That's why about 10 years ago, when I've met you in New York at one of the conference that I was one of the speaker, and you approached me to get involved the Foundation for a Drug-Free World. I quickly accepted, and the next day I was in New York, in Harlem, to take some training and sit down with you for you to give me more details so I can quickly get involved, because I love my community, I love the world, and then I am an ambassador of peace, as I'm advocating for sustainability, as I'm advocating against war. So I'm also advocating for a drug-free world, because when people doing drugs, it lessens your ability to think well. When people doing drugs, it lessens your ability to taking care of your family. When you're using drugs, it lessens your ability to take a better decision for yourself. You are a dangerous people for the society, for the world, because if you're doing drugs and you drive, you can kill people, you can get involved into accident. If you doing drugs, you're losing your ability to think well. You can kill your wife, your little brother, your little sister, your coworker. You do not have the ability to think well. So by having the foundation for a drug-free world that is spending tremendous of times and millions of dollars to educate people around the world to stay away from drugs and have a better life. So this is my responsibility as an advocate to get involved. So for the past 5, 7, 8 years, Drugs Free World has been hosting events at the UN. I've already seen you at the UN maybe for 1 or 2 years. You was trying to do it at the international level because your organization is global, is international. So I come join hand with you, so we can be stronger to teach the community, to empower them, so in turn they can take according better position for themselves, so we can have a better world, a safer world, a drug-free world. So last year it was amazing. We had more than 10 to 15 people travel abroad from other state, from other country, that attending the United Nations Global Drug Free World Conference. This year, I'm amazed to see that you are able to have sultan, to have kings, to have president, to have global world leader, to have ambassadors, to have local officials, elected officials, U.S. elected officials, to agree to come to United Nations on March 22 and 23 to participate at this amazing conference at the UN, and also because this global United Nations Drug Fuel Conference is happening during the 68th session of women empowerment, to empower women,
That's
and
right.
the month of March is Women Month. So the foundation will acknowledge and empower and honor women who have impacted the community and the world. So after the conference, we will honor about 15 amazing national and global women at our gala reception. So this is going to be amazing. I do not know if you, Dr. Ben, open this conference to the general public, but whoever have the privilege, the opportunity to attend the Global Drug Fuel Conference at the UN, not only you will be able to empower yourself to be in a safer position, but you will also be able to listen to the global leaders, to the experts, to the U.S. Senate, to the New York State Senate, to those mayors, those executive, county executive, who's going to talk about their experience, what happened in the state, in the county, in the city, you know, with dealing with the drugs issue and what they've done to help solve the problem locally, statewide. And we will have those who have global experience, who have trained, who have studied for 20, 30 years plus, who's going to talk about the experience, is going to give you exactly what need to be done in order for you to stay away and stay safe. So this event, if you are able to attend, that will be one of the greatest privilege that you will have, that will help you save yourself and save your community, and not to save
Abso-
the whole world.
Absolutely. You're so right. And for those of you watching, it's Friday, March 22nd at noontime at the United Nations in New York City. Again, Friday, March 22nd, noontime, New York City, UN headquarters. And if you're interested and you're a leader out there, or you're a layperson, or you're a religious leader, or you're a mother, as Hugues said, Ambassador Sanon has said, we welcome all of you, and you would just respond to fdfwamericas@gmail.com. I'll repeat that for you. fdfwamericas@gmail.com. And let us know you want to come, and we will be glad to get you in. And again, we want to thank the United Nations for the ability to have the platform, the Mission of Turkey, COGEP International, you, Ambassador Sanon, and all of the distinguished guests, as Dr. Sanon has said, coming from all over the world. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you, Ambassador. And for those of you who are watching, have a very good night, and we'll see you at the next episode of A Time for Truth show. Be well.
This show was sponsored by A Time for Truth Foundation Incorporated as a community service.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet